Allie, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to talk to you because we're going to talk about Alloy Enterprises, which is a company that is disrupting the manufacturing industry, which is obviously massive. So let's talk about Alloy Enterprises and what the company does.
Yeah, no, thanks for asking, Keith. So at Alloy, we've developed a new additive way to manufacture aluminum components. And so why would we do that, and why is that disruptive? So aluminum casting is a $75 billion industry, and the technology hasn't inherently changed in over 400 years. And yeah, the situation is ripe for disruption. We have household name customers, Fortune 100 manufacturers across multiple market verticals that are waiting 2 years to get aluminum components out of foundries. Since 2000, the U.S. has lost 67% of its foundries that make cast or forged components. So the White House is involved, and it's a matter that considered a matter of national security for the Defense Department to really think about reshoring manufacturing and getting the ability to fabricate metal components back here in the U.S. and really building that up. At the same time, manufacturing 2.0 and digital transformation is hitting, and there's so many improvements in technologies out there that we really need to start capitalizing on in the manufacturing industry. So we decided specifically to focus on aluminum. It's an incredible material. It's twice the strength weight ratio of steel, and it's infinitely recyclable. Okay, so we want more aluminum in everything that moves to reduce CO2 emissions. And so there's an incredible need for aluminum, both a need for disruption in this older industry with supply chain challenges. It needs to be reshored. And we have an increasing demand and justification for why it should grow in the transportation sector as well. At the same time, it's a hard material to work with, aluminum specifically, right? So aluminum powder, which traditional 3D printing, metal 3D printing relies on, it explodes. It's also an inhalation hazard, and so it's pretty difficult and costly to work with. And so what we came up with is a new process specifically for aluminum based on sheets as an input feedstock. It's a novel technology. We've made new developments or inventions all the way from the feedstock up through the software and algorithms in order to make these sort of complex components that we sell directly to our customers. So that's what we're up to, and it's been a fun ride. The company's about 4 years old at this point, and we're 47 people strong today, and have doubled in size in the last 6 months.
Now you've touched upon some like industries. I thought it'd be helpful to kind of talk about like maybe not a specific customer, but maybe like a industry example. You talk about transportation, automotive. So what would be like just a real world example?
Yeah, so nice real world example. So aluminum, in addition to being really strong and light and infinitely recyclable, it also has great thermal conductivity. And so we found a lot and gotten a lot of traction, and some of our early customers are actually semiconductor or industrial equipment sector, and they're looking to cool their electronics with higher efficiency. So think power inverters, think cold plates for, say, a photonics company that builds lasers, right? Those are great examples where there's incredible demand, and like our ability to manage thermal and pull heat away from electronics is really what's limiting computational power, as well as performance of critical components like lasers. So that's a nice example where we've gotten a lot of traction from our early customer base.
Now you announced funding earlier this year. So talk about kind of the state of the company in terms of that, plans for that funding round and what's looking ahead.
Yeah, so we're growing, that's for sure. It's a pretty exciting time for us. So yeah, we closed the Series A, so that was our third price round in April of this year. So in about 6 months, we've doubled the size of the company. And so we are growing quickly and have runway for quite some time. And yeah, bringing in people across the board, still growing our engineering team and software teams as well. But, that was really our core competency, early seed stage, a really incredible R&D engineering and software team. And now we're scaling more so into operations, right? Finance as well, and bringing in more business development, building up our sales and applications engineering team to build out and build upon that base of the core commercialization and go-to-market efforts that we've had previously.
So what's it like working at the company? What's the day-to-day culture like?
So, uh, definitely relevant for new hires. We're mostly an in-person company. So we founded the company in February 2020. So about 6 weeks before the first shutdown. And so as a result, we were a really small team that knew each other pretty well. And we were in person throughout COVID as a really small team. We actually housed the company in my carriage house in my backyard in Somerville in order to stay safe and limit our exposure to a larger group of people. But yeah, so I'd say people just like to come to work and be in the office just because of the energy. That's actually when I interview new people, a really common piece of feedback is like, everyone's exciting. Everybody, there's energy in here. There's just like this vibe, this kind of energy that's going about. And so I think that's a pretty good representation of, or pretty good point that I hear from quite a few people. And so we also have a culture really of sharing and thinking out loud. And so we're constantly getting feedback and giving feedback on work that's not done yet, and thinking about problems out loud, and respectfully being critical and poking at things, and making sure that we're getting to the right solution regardless of who comes up with the idea. Most of the ideas are not mine, they're somebody else's. And so it's that's sort of that kind of culture around here.
Now, regardless of market conditions, top tier talent always has choices. So why should Alloy Enterprises be on the radar for job seekers?
So one, I think it's the environment and that excitement of what we're building here and a great culture here at Alloy. But we're taking that and revolutionizing manufacturing. We're talking about reshoring manufacturing. We're talking about making lighter vehicles and reducing carbon emissions with an infinitely recyclable material. Okay? And this is just the start, right? We're still building the early stage company. It's a chance to get in at the ground level and help us grow and scale this company and help us to define where and what it can do in the future. I can't think of anywhere that would be more exciting to work.
Well, if you are interested in exploring opportunities at Alloy Enterprises, you need to go to the company page on VentureFizz, which has all their job listings. Go to venturefizz.com/Alloy Enterprises, and you'll see their listings there. Alloy, thanks so much for taking the time to walk us through all the details on the company.
All right. Thanks so much, Keith. I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. At VentureFizz, our mission is to share the stories of companies, their people, and culture. So if you're interested in more interviews with founders and executives in the tech industry, make sure you click on the subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching.